This is going to be an awesome week in Pokemon GO. We are getting a brand new Pokemon through an in-game event with some unique new mechanics, and we're also getting a legendary Pokemon that I think a lot of players will actually want to get. And on top of all of that, we are getting a community day. It's a very packed week, and I'm going to be talking about all of it in this video, so let's get right into it. Alright, what's happening everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon GO video. I hope your day is going really well, and let's get right into it. So for this video, we're going to be talking about everything that's going to be going on in Pokemon GO during this week, and I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a pretty good week. We are getting ourselves a brand new Pokemon through a new event, and then we're also getting a community day featuring a Pokemon that I think it's going to be pretty exciting. I think there's going to be players out there who will want to get the shiny of this Pokemon. So yeah, let's talk about everything that's going to be happening during this week. I really do think you need to pay attention to this because there's quite a lot of content that we need to go over. Let's start things off by talking about the Sweet Discoveries event. This is definitely one you will want to pay attention to. The Sweet Discoveries event is going to be happening on April 24th at 10 o'clock a.m. local time, and it's going to go until April 29th at 8 o'clock p.m. local time. This event is going to be featuring a brand new Pokemon into Pokemon GO, and it is none other than Applin. It also has different forms of evolution, and it's all going to depend on what versions of the candy that you get. We'll get more into that later. Now during this event, there's going to be a couple of event bonuses that are actually quite unique and something you should definitely pay attention to. You're going to get double the amount of candy when you catch Pokemon. Catching Delibird and Squirtle, which are actually going to be event wild spawns, will actually give you berries, and then you'll have an increased chance of encountering shinies for both Delibird and Squirtle. And then when you hatch Pokemon, you're going to have an increased chance to get shiny Delibird, shiny Cherubi, and shiny Squirtle, and you're also going to have an increased chance to encounter apples under Mossy Lure modules. I'll explain more about that later. And this is a bonus we haven't seen in a while, but if you use the Pokemon GO egg hatching widget on your phone, you're going to have a half egg hatch distance for the first 3 eggs that you hatch through this method. But next let's talk about Applin, which is the brand new Pokemon that's going to be making its debut during this event. In order to evolve Applin, you're going to need 200 Applin candies, which is very similar to evolving Magikarp into Gyarados. That's something you do need to keep in mind. But it does actually evolve into 2 different forms, either Flapple or Appleton. And in order to get either of these forms, you're going to need a new item called apples. These apples are going to be spawning in the game world. That's basically how you can get them. Now, also spawning in 7km eggs during this event, you're going to get Delibird, Cherubi, Munchlax, and Squirtle, and Delibird, Cherubi, and Squirtle are going to have a boosted shiny chance. And next up, let's talk about the wild encounters. So during this event, you're going to encounter Alolan Rattata, Abra, Bellsprout, Delibird, Gulpin, Bidoof, Munna, Bounsweet, and Squirtle. And then, as an uncommon spawn, you're going to see Snorlax, Shuckle, Komala, as well as the new Pokemon Applin. But in order to get Applin, you're going to need to tap on apples which are going to appear in the game world. And some of those apples will actually be Applin as spawns. Now, let's talk about the new mechanic, which is actually something that Niantic teased recently with the April Fool's Day event. So, there's going to be these apples that are going to be spawning on the ground. They're going to be either tart apples, which are basically apples that are slightly green and slightly red, and then there's going to be sweet apples, which are entirely red. These are all going to appear in the game world, and when you tap on them, you're either going to collect the apple itself, or you're going to have an encounter with the new Pokemon Applin. Now, in order to get players accustomed to this new mechanic, Niantic is going to be giving every single player a free timed research, which is going to award you with 1 Mossy Lure module, 1 Tart Apple, 1 Sweet Apple, as well as encounters with event-themed Pokemon. And there's also going to be a paid timed research, which is going to award you with 2 additional Mossy Lure modules, as well as event-themed Pokemon encounters like Delibird, Squirtle, Applin, and more. Considering that Delibird and Squirtle are going to have a boosted shiny chance, this could be a great way for you to get high IVs of either of these shinies. Alright, next let's talk about the community day that's going to be happening at the end of this week. It's going to be featuring the Pokemon Vanillite. Vanillite Community Day is going to be happening on Sunday, April 27th from 2 o'clock p.m. to 5 o'clock p.m. local time. And do keep in mind in that some posts regarding this Community Day, they actually list it as Saturday, April 26th, but Officially, it's supposed to be on Sunday, April 27th. And of course, the featured Pokemon is going to be Vanillite, and you're going to have an increased chance at getting its shiny form during this event. This is not a brand new shiny by any means, but it was considered a rare one beforehand, so this will be a great opportunity for you to finally get this particular shiny. Next up, let's talk about the event bonuses for this community day. So unfortunately, this is not going to be a Stardust bonus community day, but it will be an experience one. So if you're still not at max level and you're trying to get as much experience as possible, this is definitely going to be a really good community day for you because you're going to be able to get 3 times the amount of experience. But you're also going to get 2 times the amount of candy when you catch Pokemon, and then you're also going to have double the chance at getting Candy XL if you're a high enough level. And then lure modules and incense are going to last for 3 hours. This excludes the daily adventure incense, and you're going to get additional bonus spawns when you take snapshots of your Pokemon. And then you're also going to be able to get 1 additional special trade during this event, and the Stardust cost for trades is going to be cut in half. Now, when you evolve a Vanillite fully into Vanillux, you're going to be able to get the move Avalanche on that Pokemon. That's going to be the exclusive move for this community day. It's a very powerful ice type attack, and it does give this Pokemon a lot of potential to be a hard-hitting PvE Pokemon, so you should definitely pay attention to that. And there's also going to be a special research that's going to be available to everyone that's going to allow you to get Vanillite with a special background. There's going to be a paid version along with a free version. And speaking of which, let's talk about that real quick. So, just like with what they've been doing with the most recent community days, you're going to be able to get a special background timed research that's going to be free, and you're going to be able to get Vanillite with a special background. And it's going to be one of those special researches where you're basically going to have to play every single day after this community day ends, and that's how you're going to be able to get these special Pokemon. And then aside from that, there's also going to be field research tasks throughout this event where you're going to be able to get Vanillite encounters, Stardust, as well as Great Balls. And then some of those Vanillite encounters from field research are going to have a special background, so you should definitely keep that in mind. Alright, next let's switch gears and talk about what's going to be going on in PvP. So until this Tuesday, April 22nd, we're going to continue to get the Open Master League along with the Spring Cup Great League Edition. But then afterwards, until the end of the week, we're going to have the Great League, Ultra League, and Master League active in the Go Battle League, and this will be a great opportunity for you to get some rankings until the season ends. Now let's talk about the weekly activities that you will want to pay attention to, starting with this week's Spotlight Hour. This week's Spotlight Hour is going to be featuring the Pokemon Morlul with 2 times the amount of experience when you evolve Pokemon. And I will say that the one thing you will want to pay attention to when it comes to Morlul is that it does give you bonus Stardust per catch. So this could actually secretly be a really good Stardust farming Spotlight Hour. It's really going to depend on how much you catch Morlul during this event. It's going to be happening this Tuesday, April 22nd from 6 o'clock p.m. to 7 o'clock p.m. local time. Make sure you pop your star pieces and catch as many Morluls as you possibly can. Now, in terms of the raiding content, we're going to have Cresselia in 5-star raids. It's a pretty decent Psychic type Pokemon, but it's primarily used for PvP, so make sure you catch a whole bunch of Cresselia and try to trade them with your friends to get PvP IVs. It's definitely a decent one to have, and I really do think you do not want to miss out on this one. And then, in terms of Mega Evolution raids, we're going to have the return of Mega Mawile. That is a Mega Evolution that is often seen as more just a Pokedex entry, but if you still do not have Mega Mawile registered to your Pokedex, then it might be worth doing 1 or 2 of these so that you could get the Mega Energy. And then finally, on the weekends, we're going to continue to have Shadow Registeel in 5-star Shadow Legendary raids. If you want to get this particular Shadow Legendary, then get a whole bunch of friends together and raid a couple of these on the weekend. It's definitely going to be worth your time. But let's say this weekend you have no interest in getting yourself Shadow Registeel, but you still want to do something with your friends, then do keep in mind that during this weekend, we're gonna have a Dynamax Entei Max Battle weekend, and you're gonna be able to get yourself a whole bunch of Entei. This is actually a pretty decent way for you to get free legendary Pokemon. I really do think it's going to be a good time if you get a good group of friends together and engage with these battles. So yeah, with the Sweet Discoveries event, with Cresselia returning to raid battles, and then of course Vanillite getting a community day, it's looking to be a packed week. I'm really excited about everything that Niantic is doing, and hopefully the rest of the community is feeling that way as well. It's definitely going to be a pretty good time. But in any case, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know your thoughts regarding everything that I talked about down below. Is there something in particular during this week that you are looking forward to, or do you feel like this week is one where you could take a break because there's not much that they're offering? If you feel that way, definitely share your reasons why down below, and let's have a great discussion. Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if it's your first time here, and also don't forget the notification bell so you can stay up to date on whenever I upload videos. Real quick, let me give a shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. You make this channel content possible. If you want to support the Content channel, the absolute best way to do that is by joining my Patreon. If you become a paid Patreon member, I'm going to add you to my Pokemon Go friends list. So that means for stuff like remote raids, opening and sending gifts, different things like that. If you want to play Pokemon Go with me, then make sure you go and check out my Patreon. And if you want to support my channel in a completely different way, you could always do so by following me on social media. My handle is @Jinsula. I'm on the platforms that you see on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you go over there and give me a follow. With all that said, that's going to be it for this video. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, and love yourself today, and I'll catch you in the next one.